Hey, welcome back to the Weekly Word, and welcome to Brock Holler. We're just south and east a little bit of Englewood, Tennessee, and got a ghost tale to share with you here tonight. This is the ghost tale that's been going around for, well, at least back into the 1800s this story's been told. This is the old spring here at Brock Holler. The county's in the recent years has dug the ditch a lot deeper and the spring's just about gone. But when I was a boy, we would come down here, my mom and papa would bring us down here. We'd drive from Englewood just to come down here and get a drink of water out of the spring. And there would be an old cup hanging upside down on a stick above it that I'm sure the whole town drank out of. But somehow we survived back then. And it was always thought to be the best water around. Sometimes in the springtime, when it was getting dark and it'd be April or so, Papa'd bring us down here to the beginning of the holler and we'd just park and let the tailgate down. We'd sit on the tailgate and we'd listen to the whippoorwills. That's the type of stuff that folks used to do before video games, I guess, and I guess we was better off, I think, too. But there was also the ghost tale about Brock Holler. It'd been told since way back in the hundreds of years ago how a man had stopped here, a Brock man, and it was going to get him a drink out of the spring. And when he was drinking out of the spring, somebody or something cut his head off. And the ghost story goes that sometimes people would come through here at night on their wagons and they'd see a headless man looking for his head. Other stories came and said they'd come through here on the wagons and people would be scared to go through this dark holler with the ridges going up on both sides. It's about a mile long, and they would hear something thump on the back of the wagon because something jumped in the wagon with them, they said. But they would be so scared that they wouldn't turn around, and by the time they'd get to the end of the holler, it would jump back out. So that's the stories that I kind of grew up with. So I remember one spring being down here with Mama and Papa and then my uncle and my cousin, who are 10 years older than me. And I was about 5 or 6, so they would have probably been 15 or so. And Papa offered them both, I think, a $5 bill if they were willing to walk through this holler that night by themselves, and he would pick them up on the other end. And they took off, and I remember I had two thoughts. I thought, well, there go about the two bravest men I know. And the second thought was, it's nice knowing them, because I just didn't think they'd make it through Brock Holler alive. And we gave them a half an hour or so and came and went and looked for them. I was inside the truck and I wasn't scared because it's different being inside a truck than on a wagon, I guess. And besides, I had Mama and Papa. And we picked them up on the other end of the holler and they got their money, and that's how the story goes, I guess. But anyhow, the ghost of Brock Holler is a story that's been told for a long, long time. And I don't really think there's any truth other than it's just a story that was told to scare people in the kind of entertainment like the horror movies that we see today. But I do know this. I know there are demons, and I know there are angels, and I know there's this whole spiritual realm that we don't see with these eyes, but we see by the eyes of faith. And they're operating all around us. And I hope you're on God's side. We'll see you next week. It'll be November. We'll have another weekly word somewhere for you. Bye from Brock Holler, if the haint don't get us.